Okay, we'll start a new class right away. Give me a couple of minutes, so we'll start the class now. This is the second class of MA Political Science, second semester. So, first class was already done. That was about modern Western political thought. So this is the second paper of your MA Political Science, second semester, comparative political analysis. So let's start the class without delay. So welcome again to Mata Tripura Sundari, Open University Tripura. The course is Master of Arts Political Science, and this is course name called Comparative Political Analysis. This is the second paper of your MA Political Science. I am your faculty, Pandor Devarma, and that is my contact email and mobile number. You can email me if you have any doubt or queries regarding the subject Political Science, the course at our university, MTS Open University, and phone number. You can call me in the office hour if you have regarding any queries regarding the political science here. I am your program coordinator of political science in the university. So let us start. So introduction of today's block. What we are going to discuss is these are the units 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. In unit 6, we'll be discussing what is globalization and state relationship. What is economic, political, and interdependence? See, today's world is all about connected. Every world is connected. India is connected with another country, India is connected with Europe, Europe is connected with America, America is connected with Japan. So there is a connection. This is called globalization. So what is the relationship between the state? When this connection happens, does the power of state decreases? Does the power of state increases? So we are going to analyze that part. Regional integration. So we are going to discuss about some regions, state, some countries, basically cooperation, sovereignty, trade-offs. Okay, how much the states are ready to cooperate with the globalization, or how much independence they are trying to give away for the sake of business with the globe. In Unit 8, we are going to discuss about some major institutions like UN, World Trade Organization. What is their authority? What is condition? What are the norms? And what are the conflict there? Okay, so these things we'll be discussing in Unit 8. In Unit 9, we'll be discussing again multinational corporation, big business like Apple, Microsoft, Google, economic power versus regulation. How much economic power do they have? How much they are being regulated? In Unit 10, we'll be discussing about state in developing societies. What are the conditions like Asia, Africa, Latin America, and experiences? So these are the brief roadmap of discussion we'll be having in today's session. This is the second personal contact program session for this course. First session has been conducted last week, so this is a continuation. First session was about block 1. So today is the block 2. So let's see, globalization defined. Let us define what is globalization. Interconnected via trade flows and technology and migration. You can just see an example of a diagram is given here. There is a ship going from India to another country. There is music. We are listening to American music. We are watching Korean drama, or we are watching the movies from the Philippines. So exchange of music and cinema, exchange of people. I'm going America to study, or someone is coming India to study. So this is just examples. Like we are going for a tourist to Japan. So these are the areas. This is called interconnectedness. Okay, trade, business. Just like I may buy this headphone from another country, I may buy my vehicle bike from another country. So this is a business, capital flow, money. Someone is investing in another country, technology and migration. So globalization basically when one country and another country are exchanging something, it is called globalization. So one thinker, Ome, he was very much in favor of globalization. He said state has become obsolete and the world is borderless. According to him, nowadays there is no more state. Everyone is a one world, one village. There is no more difference between India and other country. Everybody is a single community right now, according to Omen. And one more thinker is Hirst. He said state power should be there, and there were difference in opinion. One is saying that state has become now less meaning. One is saying that state still has a very meaningful impact in the society. Another thinker held he's a transformationalist, means they like to transform things. They're talking about mutual constitution, state and global forces. They're talking about somewhere between, not too extremely that state are already no more, or somebody is saying that yes, state still regulate. So somewhere between the two. So what is the globalization impact on state? After globalization happened, what are the things that is going on in this world? Let's see. Economic, FDI, border policy constraint, WTO rules, limit tariffs. Okay. Foreign direct investment has actually increased during this time, policy constraint, because policies are not able to apply properly because there is too much of capital mobility, and World Trade Organization is helping that the countries should not impose unlimited tax. So these are the things that is imposition on state. State is being under the control of market forces. Okay. Politically, what happens? Supranational authority, EU, diffuse sovereignty via treaties. Like different big organizations are being created, like European Union. After creating the European Union, what happened is that sovereignty has been decreased. You have to agree to what the group is saying. If the European Union is saying that you can keep tax only 10 rupees, then you have to keep. Poland cannot say, country in Europe or Switzerland cannot say that I will not agree with you because they are part of EU. So you have to little bit compromise on your sovereignty. You have to listen to other people. So this is the global impact on the state. Social cultural. What happens in society and culture is that human rights has to be applied. Human. If you're a human, you have your right to life. Okay, right to basic needs like food, clothing, and shelter. These are most important rights as a human you have. If you're not getting it, that means your human right is violated. Migration pressures, domestic politics. Okay, so due to globalization, migration is bound to happen. One person may go to Canada for working, one person may go to England for working, one person may go to the various countries for working. So when people are increasing in your area, your politics will be pressurized. So this is one of the impact of globalization. More state strategies. What state should do is we should be liberal, but we should be flexible also. Like Golden Straitjacket Friedman said, yes, globalization is impacting all of us. So we should have free open arms to the globalization impact, but we should have limitations on that. So these are the impact of globalization on the state. So after globalization, what happened? Regional integration theory. Regional integration, the region, the state, they have become integrated now. Okay. Balasar stages. So what are the stages? FTA, custom union, common market, economic, political union. So free trade agreement will be happen, custom union will happen, market will happen, economic of the political union. So this is a process, okay, of having this kind of union in the market. New functionalism, what spillover from economic to political integration. Okay, after because globalization is basically talking about economics, mostly about business. So business doing later on what happened? Politically integration it happened. After doing business, they become friends. They share the power. When they share the power with one another, this political integration. Okay, so this is also a process. Functionalism. Liberal intergovernmentalism, what they are saying, state bargain rationally for national interest. So this group is saying that yes, globalization is happening, but the state, what the states are doing is that they are bargaining. They are trying to make things right so that their state is always benefiting from that globalization. So what are the benefits of globalization or regional integration? Okay, regionally, after integrating regionally, what happened? A larger market like this, big market are coming up, collective bargaining. The regions like Africa region, like Asia region, we come together because of this kind of theories. Okay, So policy harmonization, better laws. Okay, so these are the things through which we can see that integration region like a European Union or a Southeast Asia Forestal Corporation, SARC or Asian Association for Southeast Asians. Some regions, lots of groups are there. So these are very much helpful in creating all these things. Regional integration cases where we have some example: European Union, Supranational Commission Code, Monetary Union, Eurozone, CPFSP. So these are some examples of how this regional integration has taken place due to due to this relation and states growth. So European Union is a very big union. They have a commission. They control the things, and they have a court and monetary union also. They have money. They control and send money. Association for Southeast Asian nations, intergovernmental. All the government are here. They are the business partners. Non-interference. They don't interfere in each other politics or economics. Economic community focus. Okay, so they try to focus the economic community focus. So this is another one. Mercosur, trade bloc with political tension, Argentina and Brazil. Okay, this is between two countries, Argentina and Brazil. They do trade between the two countries. African Union, they do peacekeeping. African Union passport, they try to build a common passport agenda 2026 development. They have many agendas that they want to achieve by 2063. So these are some of the examples where some region of the world has come together to address the globalization effect. Unit 8. So what are the things international organization that is an outcome or a player in the age of globalization? Let's see. Types of global like United Nations, World Trade Organization, in regional US, Arab League, and functional WHO and IMF. Okay, so these are the examples of big groups. Because like an example here, United Nations is a very common thing you will hear everywhere. Function, how these international organizations function and what is their role is they bring out agenda, what to do as a group, what should we achieve in this world, how to make a rule like a human rights rule. Human rights as a human, it should be provided food, clothing, and shelter. Dispute settlement, when there is a problem between two countries, they try to solve it, and capacity building means they try to build up more technology, more advanced economy, more advanced society, so that they are prepared for any circumstances or situation in the future. So these are their function of international organization. And principal agent problems, some delegates, but international organization develop autonomy, mission, creep. Okay, so states are all part of it, but international organization eventually is like an independent body. Okay, so that they can take action whenever required. So international state power dynamics. So what is the role or what is the connection between international organization and the state? Let us see. Hard power. Hard power means what kind of power does the international organization have? IMF, conditional structure adjustment, UN sections. Okay. So International Monetary Fund is actually trying to control about the global capital, global money, and UN section. Whenever one country is acting aggressively or acting against the norms that have been decided, UN have to give sanction, like we will not do business with this country more, we will not visit this country anymore. So then we sanction is made and the country is made to suffer. There is a hard power. Soft power, non-diffusion R2P, peer pressure, they are naming and shaming. So through soft power, so they have the influence, like when there is a problem, they give pressure and we call them as killer. Okay, if somebody is doing a war on another country, we kill them murderer, or we kill them thief, somebody as a globally, if we call them something by naming and shaming. Okay, there is also a soft power. Limit. Okay, so obviously international organizations, they are trying to make impact in the age of globalization, but sometimes, as you can see, that the power is there, we cannot take 100% guaranteed or granted for granted that they are going to be functional, because like example, veto power is there in the United Nations Security Council. Even though in the Security Council there are 5 members, Even though if the four agree and one doesn't agree, then it is no use. That one proposal will not be adopted. So this veto power is still very important. Sovereignty clauses are there. Okay, we have to respect any country's sovereignty. We cannot just influence them. So this is one very important factor while these international organizations are functioning. Example: who during COVID pandemic debates and who dispute panels. Okay. So what happened is during COVID, World Health Organization they tried to help the countries. Okay, so these are some examples, and some kind of patent rights were discussed. Some kind of countries were not willing to share. So these are just a treaty and debates which happened, and during the COVID we could have seen. Okay. So Unit 9 we are going to MNC means multinational corporation, transnational corporations. Okay, like big companies like Walmart, Google, Amazon. Okay, Adobe. These are just example. So scale means top 100 MNC GDP. Most state Walmart more than Denmark. See. With top 100 global business people, they are more GDP than most states. Example, Walmart alone has more GDP than Denmark. See, even one business has more power, money, resource than the country. So this is an example of how impactful this MNC multinational corporation is. What are the strategies? Okay, FDI, supply chain, tech optimization, regulatory arbitrage. Okay. So to control or to help, or what are the steps that is going on with the MNC is that foreign direct investment. These are helpful. Supply chain, they are able to supply whatever things. If you want to drink Coca-Cola, they are able to bring to your doorstep. I am in Tripura right now. I can still drink and eat pizza or drink Coca-Cola or thumbs up from the foreign country. So these are supply chain. Tax optimization. Okay, they have helped the government in achieving some tax money because they give tax to the government. State leverage. What the state rule here? Market access, national champion protection, bilateral investment treaties. So state rule here is that they give market access, and in the country they are given protection, and bilateral business are happening within one country and another country. So these are some of the roles and function of the multinational big companies around the globe. MNC state bargaining. So what are the key factors while the MNC is working? Okay, MNC advantage, state advantage. Okay, MNC is capital mobility, it can be moved from one place to another easily. State is market size and regulation, they can do. Technology, know-how, they know how to use technology. MNC coercion, expropriation, state have power, they can make you under you. Lobbying power, they can have a capture a market. Public opinion legitimacy, state can get the support from the people. MNC global brands, they are globally recognized. State domestic coalition, they can make coalition and they can function. So these are just example of MNC versus state advantages. Unit 10, Asian developing state. What are things happening in the part of Asia? So China developmental state, SOE plus private MNC, BRI, global projection. So state in the Asia world, China is basically a developing country with so many private MNC. Okay, so this is an example. In India, what happened? Mixed economy. Our economy has liberalization post 1991, and we are a federal state tension is still there. Problem is there. So this is about India. What is happening in globally and in the era of globalization? South Korea and Vietnam they're exporting things and they have grown now. So state and MNC partnership is going on in South Korea. Challenges, what is happening in Asia? Inequality is still there, environment, cost, and middle income track. So these are the issues that are still there in the Asia region. What is happening in Africa and Latin America? Let's see, in Africa, new patronalism, resource curse, weak institution, Nigeria, oil dependency, South Africa, post-apartheid, inequality. Okay. New patronalism means the state is fully controlling its people, okay, without having them any voice to raise. Okay. Resource curse, weak institution, okay, oil dependency, and these are some examples what are the happenings in Africa. In Latin America, commodity cycles, populism, there's technology, Brazil, Lula community boom, Argentina, debt crisis. Okay, so population growth is happening. Uh, Technocracy, how do they address it with technology? Okay, technologies in high development states and population also increase. How do they balance these two things? And example, Argentina is in debt crisis, so this is the situation in Latin America right now. Common issues are happening in Africa, Latin America, debt traps and dependency, state capital deficit. Okay, they are have to borrow money from somebody, and they are having met as a dependent, and they don't have much own independent money. So these are some of the issues. So theoretical framework as a theory regarding this globalization and state. Let's see what are the things they are. They are realists. They're talking about state maximizes power and constraint. State is trying to be the most powerful. According to the liberal complex interdependence instrument cooperation, liberals are saying that yes, globalization is not a very simple, it's a very complex thing, and there is need of cooperation is there and between the groups. Constructive is what they are saying, ideas, norm, receives their anti-human rights designs. Okay, so they are saying ideas and norms should be there, so we can have a stable future. Marxists, they are saying global capital discipline state, perpetual inequality. Marxists are saying that the global capital, the money that is there in the world, it make the state under control. Okay, and inequality is there. So let us just have a short video about what is realism. So that was about the realism. So let us compare now what are the challenges and challenge, develop state, developing state, and example. What are the different in the globalization place? Develop state, they are trying to regulate. There is a competition. Developing, vulnerable to shocks. Okay, when there is a market up down, there's a vulnerable example. EU versus Argentina. Regionalism leadership role in developed country. In developing country, aid access seeking. Okay, they're still asking for help. Germany versus Kenya. International organization, they are in rule in developed country. They are rule making. Developing country condition taking. They take by condition. US in IMF versus Zambia. Multinational corporation, they attract FDI. In developed countries, in developing technology gap is there. Apple, Aaron Balance, Foxconn, India. So this is just example about the thing challenge developed country and developed nation are facing. So contemporarily in today's world, what we can see is that smart sovereignty, state pooling process, protectionism. Okay. So yes, sovereignty, they will try to reduce your sovereignty, but you should have a strategic pooling and protectionism. You should use such a policy that the companies are not able to overpower your governance. Hybrid governance, state orchestrated networks, public plus private. So there should be a public-private partnership. Future scenarios, we have to retreat populism, adaptation, digital revolution, erosion, failed state. Okay, so we can maximum population involvement in governance. We should adapt to digital regulation and failed states may be eroded. Okay, they may be declared as failed. Okay. So policy lessons, what we can learn from here, capacity building should be there. We should be capacited and ready for any future outcomes. Diversified partnership should be there and domestic coalition should be there. So these are our future indicators of how we should move ahead in the age of globalization for the states. In the conclusion, what we can see is that globalization transforms absolute sovereignty to relational interdependent forms requiring adaptive statecraft. Okay, so not exactly 100% independent, but this relational interdependent now due to relation, and we should have an adaptive future, and we should have a strategy how to build our statecraft, how to develop ourselves. Regional integration IQs are there. Okay, they help in bringing collective good together, demand and commitment and institutional trust building, which they are very much helpful. Okay, MNC multinational corporation, they are the economic actors, developing states navigate dependency through strategic autonomy. Okay, so strategic autonomy should be there because MNCs are very much powerful. You should know how to handle them. Ultimately, lesbian states should be there, reinvent via porous border, domestic legislation, multilateral bargaining. Ultimately, state should be strong. Okay, their border may be invaded, but they should be strong. Domestically, they have to be strong, and multilateral bargaining, they should be able to bargain in the global market. So thank you for joining for this block 2. We have really actually discussed about the state role in the age of globalization in comparative political analysis. We are comparing how different states are acting under the globalization era. What is the main impact of globalization on state sovereignty? How do MNC influence developing states? So these are some 2 questions. If you have any doubt, you can ask me right now. I'll be happy to address your questions, and then I'll see you in the next class with the block 3. So obviously, okay, the globalization, due to globalization, number 1 is that the state will always try to control it, but the globalization and the market force will always try to dominate the state by this way or the other, by asking you to give land, by asking to reduce the taxes, by controlling the area, or by exploiting the people in the area. So these are some scenarios how globalization takes state sovereignty. Okay, so we have to address it in a strategic manner. Thank you for joining. Okay, I will see you in the next class. Now you have another class with us, sir. Thank you so much.